Hello and welcome to Business Insider with Mario Toneguzzi on YYC Business, brought to you by MegaPixx Media. Joining me today is Alecia Aquino, who is Director of Business Owner Planning and Women in Business for RBC, and Tyson Jones, who is the Director of Financial Advisory Services for RBC. Thanks for joining us both today.
Thanks for having us.
Happy to be here.
Thanks. Let's talk a little bit about a recent initiative that was announced by RBC, and it's the Black Entrepreneur Business Loan. Can one of you, first of all, just describe what that is and what that initiative is?
Sure, I can speak to that, Mario, and thanks again for having us. Back in the summer of 2020, RBC announced several actions to address systemic racism and barriers experienced by the Black community. And most recently, with the announcement of the Black Entrepreneur Business Loan Financing Solution, that is one of those actions to deliver against our $100 million commitment over the next 5 years to enable access to small business loans for Black entrepreneurs. And essentially, the financing solution is in place to not only provide term loans and operating loans, but as well as access to business resources such as business registration, services through H&R Block with taxation, and services for telecom and mobility services through TELUS, as well as providing access to experts and mentors. And so this is really part and parcel of our overall commitment to the community.
Tyson, I wonder if you could perhaps describe, the why behind this. Why is this important? Why have at this particular stage of the game, is it important to have something like this in place?
Well, first off, I think this is just a wonderful program that has been uplifted by RBC, and to tell you the truth, systemic racism, within Canada has been prevalent, and we need programs like this that are targeted at communities, especially the Black community, where we're enabling Black entrepreneurs an opportunity to have access to capital, an opportunity to have access to advice, an opportunity to have access to networks. All of this is to enable them to be able to start, manage, and grow their business. And similar to what Alecia described, I think this is an all-encompassing solution, and it's targeted and it's focused.
Mm-hmm. Tell me some of the challenges that, say, the Black community faces when it comes to being an entrepreneur.
We've spent a lot of time sitting, and I'll let Tyson, jump in also. We spent a lot of time having roundtables with Black entrepreneurs across the country, as well as community leaders from Black business support organizations. And what we've heard time and time again is, not only being able to have comfort and feeling like having a trusted environment to be able to not only start and grow their business, but seeking banking services. And the other is, just having knowledge of the different, I'd say, programs and resources that are available to entrepreneurs. So, because we have a dedicated program and we have dedicated program experts across the country, our goal is to help facilitate and address some of those gaps.
Mm-hmm.
Tyson?
Yeah, and similar to what Alecia said, when it comes to being an entrepreneur, it's not an easy thing to do. It's a difficult endeavor for entrepreneurs. And when you think about access to capital, you think about banks. That's built upon trust. And I would say that with Black entrepreneurs specifically, and from my own experiences, dealing with entrepreneurs, we hear a lot of some of the challenges there, whether it's around eligibility criteria, whether it is understanding exactly what my needs are, or even if you think about having access to different networks, there's a combination of things that create certain barriers that might be a little bit higher for the Black community than it is than others.
Mm-hmm. Have you any I don't know if you can answer this question, either one of you, but can you tell me the scope and the reach of Black entrepreneurs in Canada these days? Has the number grown over the years, or has that stayed relatively the same?
I'd say in terms of the numbers, and it's hard simply because the availability of data, it's challenging to have that, particularly in Canada. And I've heard ranges from, 20,000 to upwards of 50,000 across the country. And in terms of growth, what we're seeing is there is growth. And I would say, key areas of the country where there has been growth in Black entrepreneurs has been, Quebec, Toronto, the Atlantic region, as well as Alberta. So there has been, I'd say, a lot of entrepreneurial opportunities there and growth. And I think also too, what is helping with that growth is obviously new entrants to Canada, and I think that's also contributing to the growth that we're seeing.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, and mentioned the idea of the mentorship, right? How important is that? How important is it for people to have, for lack of a better phrasing, say role models out there that can help them on their journey?
Maybe I'll
Go
take
ahead,
this
Tyson,
one.
and then I'll answer.
I would say it's so important, especially if you're starting your own business for the first time. You hear countless stories about entrepreneurs, failing in, their first or second.
Oh, we've lost Tyson there for a second. Maybe
Endeavor. If you're able to shorten up that time, feedback by getting mentorship, by being able to bounce, ideas from somebody else who has gone through. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Well, we're losing you a little bit here. Maybe if we can just go to Alecia as well, answer that. And
Sure, and I'll just add on to what Tyson was sharing. Mentorship is so key. As an entrepreneur, sometimes being able to navigate all the different steps, all the different, I'd say, best practices, how to avoid certain pitfalls, it's so key. And back in March of 2021, we launched a funding collaboration with Futurepreneur through the Black Entrepreneur Startup Program. And what we're finding, in the early days of that program is not only is the upfront coaching that all of the entrepreneurs are receiving as they're preparing their business plans and preparing to apply for financing, but it's the after they get their financing. They get 2 years worth of mentorship from an entrepreneur in residence. So you get not only that support up front, but also that support after the fact. And when we think about access to networks, that is so key as well. So not only having access to advice, but being able to talk to different peers in your industry, or being able to talk to different leaders within different industries to be able to get those insights and receive that coaching.
okay, super. Well, unfortunately we lost Tyson there, but I wanted to thank both of you for joining us today and shedding some light on the Black Entrepreneur Business Loan that RBC has put out. Thank you, Alecia and Tyson, for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Mario.
All right, super. That was Alecia Aquino, Director of Business Owner Planning and Women in Business at RBC, and Tyson Jones, who is Director of Financial Advisory Services for RBC as well. This has been Business Insider with Mario Toneguzzi on YYC Business, brought to you today by MegaPixx Media. Thanks for joining us.